Melissa Ward was a trailblazing female African-American pilot as a female captain in commercial passenger aviation. Her mother, Ann B. Ward, was one of the first 2 black women to graduate from the Pritzker School of Medicine. Ward was brought up in the South Side of Chicago and attended Whitney Young High School. She was awarded an Air Force ROTC scholarship to college. She was a member of the women's basketball team and gained a BBA from the University of Southern California. She joined the U.S. Air Force, where she was an instructor pilot on the C-141. In November 1992, she joined United Airlines in Chicago as a second officer on DC-10s. After 9 months, she became first officer on Boeing 737-200s flying out of San Francisco, moving to 727s flying out of Denver in June 1995. By 2000, she was once again flying high as a pilot of 737 shuttles out of San Francisco. And she is generously joining us here this evening. Please put your hands together for Melissa Ward.
So, 32 years ago, to this exact date, I graduated from USC. And I know what you're thinking. Did they actually have women's sports that long ago? And you know what? They did, because I brought my yearbook to prove it. And I have to admit, I had to pull this out because when you try and Google what sports were here 32 years ago, there's no Google list because Google didn't even exist back then. So I had to pull out the yearbook, and I actually was surprised to find out we had a women's rodeo team. That, I'm not kidding, I will show you the picture. It's really pretty crazy. But the funny thing about looking back here is I look at us in our short shorts and our really bad hair because the 80s were not kind. And I look at you and these ladies that were on the stage, you are Gal Gadot and Wonder Woman. I mean, you are amazing and strong and so beautiful, and it is just really a privilege to be here to talk with you today. So 32 years ago, on this day, I sat where you sat, and I was so excited to get out to my life and go on and do these things that I had, set goals to do. And my first thing was to go to a year of pilot training in the Air Force. And I drove there very excited. I wasn't nervous at all. I mean, I figured, how hard can it be to fly a plane, right? It's like learning how to drive a car, isn't it? Maybe a sports car, but boy, was I wrong. Learning to fly an airplane was the toughest thing I think I've ever done in my life. It was a full year in a remote place, Lubbock, Texas, away from family and friends, and it was truly just times I thought I would never make it. I learned a new term. It was called washing out. Washing out is a very nice way to say failure. And the washout rate in every pilot training class was over 50%. So you would show up every day and wonder, will my name still be on the board? Am I still going to make the cut? And in those darkest times where I thought, I'm not going to get through this program, I would think back to playing basketball here at USC. I would think back to playing for Linda Sharp, running lines, running stadium steps in the Coliseum if you were ever lucky to do that. I would think of the drill rushing layups, which were the worst. It's the worst drill ever imagined. I would never wish that on anyone. And I would think that if I could get through those 4 years of playing basketball at USC, I can do anything. Because when you talk to D1 athletes, they will tell you it was amazing, it was challenging, it was fun, it was traveling. Not a single person will tell you it was easy. Because it wasn't. What you have done these past 4 years is nothing short of amazing, just unbelievable. Now, I walked on to that national championship basketball team, and I know I have a couple of walk-ons here, and you two are, I don't know if I have any more. Are there any others then? Because the walk-on is near and dear to my heart. Why is that? Because walk-ons, you do it just for the fun of the sport and for the love of the sport. without promise of any scholarship or even playing time sometimes. And what I'm going to tell you, ladies, is that you all are all about to become walk-ons. Wherever you go next, whether it's pro athlete or you're going to go into the business world, it does not matter what you do. You are about to become the junior person, the new person on the tour, the youngest person on the team. And so when you go to that place that you go next and you have that role, I want you to know it is so important what you do. Don't treat anything, any task you're given, or an assignment, or anything you play in your sport, don't think it's trivial or irrelevant, because it isn't. It takes every single person of a team and every single person of a company to be successful. Now I'll tell you, when I show up to fly an airplane, people get off the plane and they thank me. Thank you, Captain. Thank you for getting me here safely. As if I bought the ticket for them and gave it to them, and loaded their bags, and served their drinks, and boarded them on the airplane, and actually did all the mechanic work on the plane. But I don't do that. I just fly the plane. Now it's easy. It wasn't easy back then, but now it's easy. I have a team of 100,000 people at United Airlines that they do their jobs, so my job is easy, and that I can take credit for getting them from one place to another. And so when you move on in your life and you become more successful, never ever forget that walk-on, that person that's new at your company, the person that you're going to be. Do the best that you can, because everything you learn will lead to your success in your life. Now, I work in a very male-dominated field. In fact, United Airlines just tweeted out that they have the most female pilots in the entire country, a whopping 7.4%. So out of 12,000 plus pilots at United, there are about 1,000 women. And so it is very unique working in a male-dominated field. And while many of you may go on to play sports and you may not have to experience that, several of you will. You will find that you will be working alongside men, and some will be supportive, and some will be competitive. And what I would tell you is that whatever you do, whenever you work alongside some men, I want you to remember that while you try to fit in, don't ever lose yourself doing so. Don't try to be someone else. Always be yourself. When I was in the Air Force, I was the only woman in my pilot training class. I probably was the only black pilot on the entire base. And I tried to pretend that neither of those were me. I tried to be one of the guys. And what I learned is that when you try and be one of the guys and you just lose your entire personality, you become ordinary. And you don't want to become ordinary. Everything about you is so unique, it makes you extraordinary. So when you are trying to fit in at your new place, wherever that is, be who you are. And Jordan was right. Sometimes you don't get support from women either. And I always say that the best policy when you're working with people who don't want to support you, who want to be competitive with you, is to use smile therapy. Just give them a big smile. You know, I've been very fortunate the last couple of years. I've got a lot of attention from United Airlines. And I've been the subject of a few videos and TV shows. And my friends like to brag on Facebook about me. So just for a second, Facebook is Instagram and it's Snapchat for old people. Okay, just so we're all talking the same language. So my friends are great. Candy always says, "Hey, great job, Melissa. So proud of you." And all of my friends say that. But there's this one guy at United I've worked with for 25 years, and his comment every single time is, "Don't you ever work?" And I was like, the first time was kind of funny. Maybe the second time, but after about the 10th time, and I mean to a T, he says it on every single event that we're celebrating, it's something I've done. And I thought, I could say something back kind of snarky, but I'm not. I'm going to smile, and I'll comment back. Not only am I working, I'm working it. And I just smile because all I can think of is maybe he's a little bit jealous, and that's okay. work harder. Keep up, right? So when you're out there, I hope that you encounter women that are going to be mentors for you, that are going to reach back. Because I've never understood the point of being a trailblazer unless you're going to widen the road for everyone. So I was the first black woman captain at any airline in the United States. And I know that was a very small path that was laid there before me by the women who came before me. And I know I took a bold oath. And every woman pilot that I meet, I want them to be better than me. I want them to fly higher than I've ever flown, and faster, and stronger. And those are the type of women that I hope you encounter in your life. But more importantly, that's the kind of woman I want you to be when you become successful. So I would ask you to do 3 things when you leave here. The first one, find something you're incredibly passionate about. Whether that's your sport, or it's a career, or it's being a parent, whatever it is, find something that you can't wait to wake up in the morning and get back to it. Find something that you can't wait to solve that problem, or find that cure. Fly that airplane. Something that just gets you going every single day. Find something you're passionate about. It will keep you young. It will keep you happy. It will make you successful. 2, try to be a part of something that's bigger than yourself. This is really hard for athletes because we're always working on ourselves. We always want to be the best we can be. But really, it's not just about us. It's about everything out there. It's about giving back. So go coach a sport, or volunteer, or be a big sister at a Boys and Girls Club. But do something that will inspire somebody else. Take everything that was given to you these 4 years and in your entire life and pass it on to someone else so that you can be a part of something that's bigger than yourself. And lastly, I would ask you to be great. I would ask you to give every effort to everything you ever do. I would ask that you go out there and impact the world however you can. You know, around the world, the class of 2018 is graduating. Around the world, all these other schools are saying, good luck. We've taught you what you need to know. Good luck to you. See you later. But here, these last 4 years were orientation, folks. This was just getting you ready. Because USC grads, we go out and we make a difference in everything we do. And you need to be great. You need to have a motto or a walk-up song, something that plays in your head or that you say to yourself so that you go out there and you do the best that you can be and you be great. Because as we've said so many times today, you are a bear or a buffalo or a cardinal or a husky for 4 years. But ladies, you are women of Troy forever. Thank you.